Hey class, so today I'm going to tell you a little bit about Norse mythology. Personally, Norse mythology is one of my favorite because you get some weird and wacky characters such as Thor, Loki, Odin, and more. Do those names sound familiar? That's because they're also Marvel characters. These versions of the characters, however, are nothing like those. So just yeet the knowledge of Marvel out of your head because you know nothing about the true Norse pantheon! Also, remember when Disney tried to trademark Norse Loki? Yeah, that was funny, but also false. Anyway, these Norse gods are completely different and have some completely wild and wacky tales to tell. The particular tale I am going to tell today is one I like to call horsing around. So, a little background info so you can understand the story. This takes place after a war between the Aesir and the Vanir, which are two groups of gods. Ultimately, the war ended with both sides wanting to trade their gods like Pokemon. So they're like, we're all good now, fam. But as a result of the war, Asgard had no wall. This is kind of a big problem. Now granted, the gods could, rebuild the wall, but they're like, nah man, I'm too lazy. So ultimately Asgard just didn't have a wall, and the gods just didn't want to rebuild it. So that brings us to our main event, Horse Story. So our story starts by Heimdall just kind of chilling at Asgard's gate when suddenly some man with a horse out of nowhere just arrives. So Heimdall's like, "Oh, what's thine business, mysterious man with horse?" And the man just replies, "Dang, son, you got no wall. It sure would be unfortunate if you were to get invaded without a wall. Wink, wink." So Heimdall's like, okay, this is already low-key suspicious. So man explains himself, alright, so my name is Master Smith, and I have an offer that you just cannot refuse. Would you do me the kindness of assembling all your fellow gods, so I may tell you of my good tidings? So Heimdall's like, okay, this is already kinda sus, but sure. So Heimdall calls every god of Asgard except Thor into an executive meeting, and they're like, yo, what's your business here? Master Smith is like, behold, for I have a once-in-a-lifetime offer for you. I would like to rebuild your wall for the low, low price of the sun, the moon, and Freya. Wait, hold up, what now? So the gods are all like, bruh, you really think we're gonna give you our most precious resources for a wall? So Matt Smith's like, okay, but like, without a wall, y'all got nothing protecting you from invaders. And so the gods are kind of just very doubtful, except for Loki, who's just like, tempting. Hearing this, Freyr was probably just like super mad at Loki. But Loki, however, pulls a few gods aside and is like, okay, here's the deal. I got a plan. What if we actually let this guy rebuild our wall, but we give him an insanely thin time limit, like perhaps 6 months? So that way, if he doesn't meet the time limit, we don't have to pay him. And so Owen's like, yo, that's actually kind of a big brain move. Free labor. So the gods all kind of agree to Master Smith's plan with the time limit. And Master Smith is all just like, alright, I can do that. One request, however. Can I use my horse? And then the guy's like, alright, I don't see a problem with that. So Master Smith goes on building the wall with his trusty steed. And here's what the gods didn't predict. They did not predict that this guy was a complete unit, and his horse was an absolute tank. So this man gathers materials by day and builds the wall at night. This guy does not sleep. This dude is 4 parallel universes ahead of the gods. This guy is just a factory of sheer terror with his productivity. And the scarier part is this guy's getting close to finished before the last day. Like, the wall is 97% done. Because of this, Freya just starts having a complete mental breakdown. She does not want to marry this guy. And Odin just, like, looks at Loki, and, he grabs him by the neck and bashes him against the wall. And he's like, Loki! This guy's almost finished! And we're about to lose our most valuable stuff because of your idea! And Loki's just like, okay, but, like, y'all agreed to it. And I was like, I don't care if we agreed to it! You're gonna fix this mess, or you're fired! And so Loki just replies, okay, I'll fix it. So Master Smith and his horse are on the last trip to the wall before it's finished. And he's like, boy oh boy, it feels so good to have the last bit of materials needed to finish the wall. I sure do hope nothing unfortunate or weird and wacky happens on my trip back to the wall. And all of a sudden, a female horse comes out of the bushes. And Master Smith's horse sees this. And so, like, the true League of Legends player this horse is, he's like, oh my god, I haven't seen a female in 6 months. And his horse breaks free of the carriage, and Master Smith sees this, and is like, no! I've been bamboozled by the gods! My horsey! And he gets so angry, he transforms into a frost giant. It's like, rah, curse you, Asgard! Suddenly the gods pop out of the bushes and are like, busted. Oh, and remember when I said Thor was absent from the executive meeting? Well, that's because he was playing a surprise attack. And so, he goes up against the frost giant and just bonks him into the shadow realm. After this, all the gods are like, yay, we did it! We built the wall for free labor, and we didn't have to give our resources to that frost giant. Whoopee! Wait, where's Loki? So Loki is gone for like 9 months, and all of a sudden, he just casually comes back to Asgard with a little surprise. So Loki marches up to Odin's office and is like, sup, Odin? And Odin, being rash person, is like, yo, why have you been gone for 9 months? Loki just kind of ignores questions like, Odin, I have an offering for you. Behind Loki is a baby blue 8-legged horse. And he's like, this guy's name is Sleipnir. He is the fastest steed known to man. Wanna know why he's the fastest steed known to man? Well, that's because I birthed him. Wait, you what now? I offer you Sleipnir as your personal mount to ride into future battles. Okay. So Odin accepted Sleipnir as his personal mount, and everyone lived happily ever after. So all in all, that was the story of Loki having a loving relationship with a horse. If I had more time, I would talk a lot more about Norse mythology and why I think it's interesting. You also get other stories like Odin losing his eye, and also cross-dressing Thor, and a whole lot more. Most of my information I got from this book. It's called The Norse Myths by Kevin Crossley Holland. It's a good read, but that's a good book for if you're wanting more information about Norse mythology. So, all in all, you can go check it out if you want, but that's all I have for today for you folks. So, see you around.